Morning everybody. So video for you this morning, not so much something a bit different, but something regarding daily driving and general bits of maintenance, because obviously bodywork's going to come along, so I'm going to run through like sort of procedure and how it's probably best to proceed on. I mean, this is going to lead on to a course of all the stages. I'm going to obviously do your videos, but it's just an explanation how to get into real classic world. So I mean, if you like what I do, subscribe to my channel. We'll get this out of the way, and then it all helps. I've got over 2,000 subscribers. I know it's not a lot, but we keep going in the right direction. So, but anyhow, we'll set off from now. So you've got your classic. Whether you've, I mean, some of you might be in a fortunate position to buy an absolute immaculate thing. You've never got involved in this, but a lot of you probably something that's probably it could be a survivor. So it's going to have a few flaky corners, you know, and stuff like that. So you might have a few bits to do when you get your, well, not saying winter, you might do it, some of you might just have a break and have a couple of weeks at it, or a week at it, or whatever, just tidy a little corner up that's annoying you and irritating you if you're that skilled, or, you know, or you're trying to get yourself to be that skilled. So, right, first protocol anyway, wherever issue area is, obviously you need paint out. Now, you're starting to run out of metal on some of these old cars. They are getting a bit flaky and again a bit thin. So, I mean, this is a Starchem, and it's a sign stripper, it's paint stripper. Now, it's a good product. The none of them are as good as they used to be, because of obviously it's solvent issues throughout the world, but this on, keep it wet, and then you'll find it'll lift stuff, and just keep it wet, and just get your area cleared off with that if you can first. I mean, obviously, you've got a bit of filler in there, you might have to just use a bit of grinding and stuff like that, and then, you know, but then, well, that should get you through section A. This is one I use, it's pretty good, like I say, I get plenty on and I tend to cover it up, bit of polythene or something like that, something just, you know, just to keep it wet, and it finds it does work a lot better. I use such as like a filler spreader to scrape off, and obviously steel scrape as well, but it's a good product, but none of them are as good as they used to be, no matter whatever anybody tells you. I mean, and then once you're done, you've gone into your corrosion. I mean, once you get into corrosion, I mean, I'll just tend to clean up. This is like a die grinder, this is an air one. I mean, I'll show you, I mean, it just, and I put a regulator on it, because to be honest, they're a bit slow it down, they're a bit fast or something like that, which is an air one, so it'll agitate like your rust and just start to clean up a bit. Also, if you say on a wishbone, or something like that, you know, or a bit of a substantial like cross member, I mean, I'll go in with needle gun. I mean, you're probably not going to have a needle gun like this, you might just have an attachment for your hair chisel if you have got hair stuff. I mean, I don't know if you would have, like, you know, but then that'll just clean them down so you can get it back. But a product I have been using, I've been using quite a lot, which we will go on to in a further video. I mean, I've been using a lot of acid. I mean, I use an acid, it's called Gen X, and to be honest with you, I mean, it's really, really good. In fact, I've got some steel somewhere. I did a sample for you. So, try to talk a bit louder because I'm walking away. Now, this piece of steel, well, like that, but it was quite heavily pitted, all this side. So, that was quick agitate up, the likes of that, or wire brush. Now, when you're using all this acid stuff, I mean, for God's sake, make sure your eyes and your face are protected. Probably better with a full mask. You know, really make sure you're protected, because you don't want to splash yourself, it's no good. Make sure your hands are protected with a good heavy duty glove, because acid can burn. I mean, if it does that, if it just lifts rust off like that, obviously it's got abrasive. You know, it's like doing something. So make sure at all costs your eyes are protected. You know, I mean, you don't really want goggles. That's fine for grinding or something like that. They'll keep sparks with it, but all that acid, try and get full facial protection, because last thing you want is in your eyes. And also it'd be advisable to have an eye washer back, so in case that does happen. But like I say, going back to it, anyhow, you get that. So like I said, when we're doing that side, you get a little bit and agitate. You just put a wire brush, or you just dust it up with that. Spray it on, leave it, probably a couple of minutes. You know, you'd see, probably agitate it again, spray it again. Now this piece took over a period. You're not on it all the time. You've got to find yourself other work, you know. This piece was cleaned up with, I would say, 5 minutes. So that's what you've got. Now, if I painted that now, well, that corrosion was held back for a hell of a long time. So I'm going to do a bit more with this, and you'll see a bit more, obviously, as videos go on, and I'll show you some in depth. I mean, I've done a wing here. I'm not going into it now, but that's an inner wing that you would have looked at that, a wing off a car with the rust up inside, and you'd have died. You'd have, oh, that's Addy, I've got to get... No, you haven't. It's not... You ain't got to do all that. This is a bit of a... I know everybody pulls faces over acids, right? And it really is a way forward, because you're not eliminating steel. You need as much steel to weld. So you try and just clean up best you can with stuff like that. And then once you've all done, it just washes down with water. End of story. Wash it down correctly, you've not got a problem. You know, it's a good product. I mean, we'll go over it, and I've got some unusual ideas for it. So it'll be something worth watching future videos for. I mean, these videos, like I've said earlier, will fill gaps up, and just when I'm doing other stuff with you. So you've got it down to something like steel, you've got an issue. I mean, then with me, I mean, if it were a floor pan I were pulling out or something like that, I mean, I've got a reciprocating sorry, it's an air one. I mean, it's a good old fashioned thing. It's pretty, well, it's very old to be quite honest. And rip it out right edge, and then you're into where all your spot wells. Well, obviously you can use your drill your spot wells, also go in with your, what is it, air chisel. Grinding disc, I mean, this is a 36, bit on stick, a bit on fast side, that'll be, and then be careful. I mean, make sure your protection on again of your eyes. Watch what you're doing at all time whenever you're grinding, because you only get one set of them, and sometimes you can cause that much damage that you've ruined them, and that's the last thing any of you want. So, set grinder, you know, you've got a situation, like I say, you could use something like a needle gun, but if you're in areas just where it's a bit roguey, bit of underseal, you want to clean it up right, but just try and knock pressure down on your compressor so it's a bit steady. You know, then clean up with that, obviously. I also have another die grinder, and I have disking. Same again, protection at all time, because there's no guard, as you can see. I mean, I always do. In fact, that disc's a bit bent, to be honest. But that's that. But I let these go down to note so I can get this end really into tight corners to clean up. I mean, air saw helps. Big help for you. You know, these are really good for getting little air saws, getting in little tight areas where you can't always get in. So that's something else to take in. I mean, I'm not saying you've got to have all this, but obviously I have to work at a pace, because obviously I've got to get stuff done for people, and obviously budgets can't keep carrying on and on and on, and I've got to like do a professional job that I'm hoping has got quite a lot of longevity for people, so I have to have like a tool more or less for everything. I mean, then once you've obviously gone in welding, whether you're MIG, TIG or whatever, bottles, gas, you know, it's like, well, it then becomes, it's like, then it's on clean up, you know, but we'll go, like I'm saying, we're going to cover all these areas for you. I wasn't going to do this, but because we're on daily driving thing, I think I'm going to try and show you, because I'll involve a lot of my own stuff that I run around, and I've got some patches to do on bits and pieces that I refuse to restore them, because they're too good cars, but then you're cleaned up, you're all done. I mean, well, you might have a bit of fabbing to do. I mean, this is another useful tool, is, let me get a bit of tin, because this is a joggler and a punch. I mean, it's an air one. I'll find a bit of tin for you. I'll try and talk a bit louder as I'm walking away from you. Nah, what we got here? You know, a bit of tin here. Now, this tool, I'll use it when I'm putting like sills on, and I'm using original steps sometimes, because sometimes I don't always go all the way back. And it'll joggle with top edge, and I just keep it down. I mean, you can have an hand joggler, just like folding a wing. And then other side's a punch. So if I want to set bottom at sill, I mean, obviously you've got to bear in mind how many things I have to make. But you'll see this when I do bits and pieces of fabrication. And there's the end result. I mean, it's joggled and punched. I mean, quite an expensive tool. That's a good quality one, you know, but it saves you a lot of time. So, but these things do help, or it's even a pointer if you're a proper restoring lad. Now, going on to cleaning up, when you've done a bit, I mean, it's all going to be done in detail. That's like I've just been telling you. So now these are 80s, so, are they 80s, 75, whatever diameter they are. I think they're 75, to be honest. I'm not going to measure them, but I tend to use a lot of this size, and for a simple reason is when when they start losing their edge, which most of your grinding is done on your edge, I mean, if you're using stuff like I use just sanding discs in the electric grinder, and then I finish up with this. I don't use likes of flat discs, because a lot of people use flat discs. Well, flat discs in my eyes are rubbish, because they're too soft, you know. You just put wrong shape into everything. Now that's positive. These are positive, you know, you can keep going, you can get a nice finish, and then, like I said, this size, for an 80, 75 I'm sure they are. And then when they're knocked down, then I'll pop them onto another one. I mean, this is quite an expensive little air sander. This is very good. I mean, I tend to use 40s, 36s in this one. And a bit of coarse stuff to clean up. Well, you know, if you've got a bit of welding, you've probably got your weld a bit high sometimes. This is brilliant for it. But plenty of lubrication on these as well when you're using them. And then also, when I'm getting down to final clean up in delicate areas, this is a 60, different form of abrasion, a lot better. But like so this one, I'll tend to, when I cut them down, pop them on here when they've lost their edge, trim round them, and then I've got a double bite. Because I mean, some of your stuff now, it's like, well, some of them are about £1.50, £2 for a disc, so you've got to get some mileage out of them. I mean, another thing that's quite useful is an air file. I mean, same again, your belts are quite expensive now, but they'll get you out of a lot of trouble on clean up. So, but all this area will be gone over, and everything will be gone on in a lot more detail. But it's probably something to be and I'm starting to have to do things now, because, like I said, corrosion, I mean, we're talking 50, 60 year cars, probably 70, you know, like this angle area. And it's come on a lot, it's become a lot different to when you got something that's been sat in the garage. It just needs a bit of tidying up, because it's actually got into some of them, and you've got to, you know, you just got to nail on edges, you know, tidy them up if that's sort of vehicle you've got. But you're going to see, because I've got plenty that I can do for you. So give a like if you like video, and pass a comment on all this, or where I'm going, or anything what you want to show, or even know what you want me to show, because we're going to go right from stripping off right through to getting it down to project. You'll see where issues are. Right down to, I'm going to show you like so this wing. There's a wing over here. It's that if you would have seen that wing before I acided it, you'd have thought that wants to go in pain. It's had it, but I'm telling you, it's come up absolutely fantastic, because this is definitely a way forward. I know you're all going to pull faces, and I know you're all, but I'm going to show you the techniques with this that will change your mind, trust me. And then we'll go through stage after stage after stage. We'll have to get another way. I'm going to have to manage the camera, whatever I'm going to do, but I'm going to try and even show you a car I might be driving. I might pull it in and do a little repair, and then I'm back driving it. And just to prove to you that you can keep them going. You can probably keep younger end interest more, because if they see them running around more, some of them won't go to shows, some of them won't go there. I mean, I'm at NEC, I think I'm Friday, or I think I'm Saturday, I don't know, but I'm going to let you all know anyway on a quick short video, so what day I'm going. But let's try and keep it going, and let's try and keep some of these classics regular. So thank you very much. So like I said, subscribe, give us a like, and pass a comment, and take care everybody. It's been good to talk to you again. Bye for now.